Hey everybody, how you doing? My name's Dave. You can call me Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. Today we're gonna do a little more with the funk groove that we did last week. So last week we learned how to generate a really quick funk groove. That's great and all, but now what do you do with it? So let's talk about what we do with it. I'm gonna recreate what I had last week. I'm gonna do this real fast with a few different apps this time just to give you an idea of what's going on here. I keep choosing the wrong thing. So I'm using Beathawk because I like that it's an inter-app audio drum machine. So there it is, inter-app audio. And I'm going to load up one of the drum kits that I've made specifically to work with Rosetta, because I like using Rosetta and Beathawk and AUM. I'm going to go with the Lin LM1 drum machine. It's a very standard drum machine. I'm sure you've heard it before. I do need to turn that down, the hi-hat though. The hi-hats are really loud. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a quick beat here in Rosetta XOX. Now I'm gonna do exactly the same beat I did last time. What I ended up with last time. I'm gonna do 4 on the floor. Okay, kick drum on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Snare drum on 2 and 4. Claps on 4, and that's all. I'm not gonna put in hi-hat right now. Okay. So we have this. So, let me turn down Beathawk just a little bit because it's topping out there. Okay, so this is a really straightforward groove. Okay, it's super plain. Okay, and I'm gonna throw in a bass line here. Now, instead of auto-generating a bass line, I'm gonna create one. Now, I'm a bass player. I've been playing bass for, oh gosh, almost 30 years at this point. I've played professionally, I've played amateurly. So I know my way around the bass guitar is my simple point. So I'm going to show those of you guys who don't know much about bass guitar or bass what to do with the bass, or good ways to start with the bass. Okay, I'm going to stay in the key of C for right now with bass line, just because it makes it easy for everyone to understand. I'm going to load up, I'm going to go to all banks here, go to bass. And I really like Taurus-like is a great bass sound. So those of you want to hear. Okay, it sounds huge. ISEM, that's what this is. ISEM is great for 80s bass. Okay, so now this is connected. Okay, so we're gonna start here. Okay, now I'm gonna raise that by an octave. There we go, because that bottom note is getting a little lost. Now, an easy thing to do with bass lines is to do octaves. So, okay, so I'm going to start with just that. Now, I find 8 bars very restrictive for funk, and it also makes the bass lines so much more repetitive and less interesting for me personally. A lot of people can do 8-bar or 8-step bass lines and have them be awesome. I have a hard time with that. Okay, so I'm gonna do, I'm making this up on the fly here, so bear with me while I figure this out. That's a really straightforward. So first of all, here's a good tip. Octaves work really well, okay, with funky bass lines. The other thing that's super important is making sure that you land on the root note of the key on the downbeat. Okay, that is the Bootsy Collins secret of funk bass. If you don't know who Bootsy Collins is, go look up Bootsy Collins. You need to know who Bootsy Collins is, and I shouldn't have to explain it here. Just go Google him. You'll know what's going on. So, landing on the root note of the song on the downbeat. So for this, we're in the key of C here, as you can see. So making sure that a C note is on the 1 is really important. 1. 1. Okay, so downbeat on the 1 is very important. Octaves really help make things funky. The flat 7 of the scale also makes things really funky, because funk bass lines tend to be based on a pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale. Penta means 5, tonic means note. 5-note scale. Okay, a minor pentatonic scale is like the most universal bass line generating scale ever. I'm not going to explain exactly how a pentatonic scale works here, how it's made up, just because I don't have much time and I want to try to keep this short. But again, do a little research on a minor pentatonic scale. It's a 5-note scale. It's the world's friendliest bass line scale. Okay, so doing something very simple like this with 2 octaves of the 1 note, C, the main note, the root note, going to the flat 7, a whole step below that, or 2 half steps, B flat or A sharp. Again, I'm assuming that you have some basic music knowledge here. If there are things that I'm saying that are confusing you, please note it in the comments and I'll happily answer your questions. But I'm trying to go quick here. So the other thing is leaving space is good. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Okay, so that's a really good starting place, and it's really simple. So it's easy to get your head around. Now, notice that I have not added any hi-hat on the drums. It's just kick and snare right now. Okay? Hi-hat is something that you can use to add some flavor to the beat, to give it a little life, okay, to make it less stiff. This is pretty stiff right now. Okay, we can always add some shuffle, okay, to the groove, which kind of moves the notes a little bit so that they're less metronomically accurate. It's less stiff, and the beat, it moves it a little bit so it's got a little bit of humanized flavor, a little bit of sauce, a little bit of juice, a little bit of all the cool stuff that's indescribable. So that's one thing you can do, is add a little shuffle, and you can do this, you can do the same here. Okay, you can also, for Rosetta, you can use these mutate functions, which will throw in some extra notes in there. Now, there we go. So, see how it's adding in the extra notes? So I'm going to back it off just a little bit. In fact, I'm going to take it off the kick drum. I'm going to take it off the kick drum. I think I was just messing with it. Yeah, I was going to take it off the kick drum. And here's why. I want that kick and that snare to be thoroughly consistent, but I'm going to use the mutate on the hi-hat to give me a little extra juice. So, I like starting with a hi-hat on the offbeats. It helps give it a little swing. Since everything is on the downbeat, 1, 2, 3, 4, having a little gives you a little syncopation, okay? Here's another thing you can do. Follow accented hits with a lighter hit. That's something that drummers actually do when they play, to give their playing some dynamics. Okay? So with that, I'm going to throw a little mutation on here. I'm going to shuffle the groove a little bit. Okay, so you hear how it's improvising a little there? Okay, so we have something that's a little less stiff. Now, of course it's going to be a little stiff. Oops, sorry about that. Of course it's going to be a little stiff because it's electronic and we're programming it. And that's kind of the style, is this robotic funk, right, for this 80s thing. But we can make it a little more lively. Okay, so I'm going to throw in here, I'm going to do my clavinet trick again that I showed you guys before. I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to try to speed this up because there's something else I want to show you. Okay, so I used particles before, and I pointed particles at the particles, and I made this, oops, we took a clav, and we just took any clav. I'm taking the first one. It's a little interesting. So now we're going to make this particles, we're going to make it 16th notes. We're going to increase the speed so it's a little more syncopated. We're going to set this on C, and we're going to set this on C minor pentatonic, just to illustrate my point a little more. Okay, so it's kind of like the clavinet player is just jamming out in the background. Okay, he's grooving away. Now, instead of adding a wah on there, or like the filter like I did last time, this time I'm going to use FAC chorus. Nope, that's not giving me what I want. Let's try that again. Let's see what else I have in here. I want something different than what I had before. Let's try Svep. I want it to sound a little watery, and I'm going to give it a little maxima. That'll bring it up in the mix a little bit. And then I'm going to drop the pitch down. Okay, so now we got something going on. This isn't perfect, but you guys get the idea. Okay, so what else do we add here? What else can we do? I'm going to go with some sort of a strings feel. So I'm going to bring up, I have strings here in Casper, so I'm going to use Casper. Now, one of the things that I've struggled with, these kind of grooves is that inevitably the bass line ends up sort of rolling around on a single note. It ends up being an ostinato, just playing the same loop over and over and over again. So how do you vary that and make it interesting? Well, I'm going to give you one idea. I'm still working out other ideas. Okay, so we're going to use Rosetta cells to play chords with. And I'm going to set the length to 2 bars, so it'll play for a long time. I'm going to set the gate length high. I'm going to change the keyboard to Rosetta cells. Okay, we're going to mute particles there because it's going to keep going in the background. So here, we're in the key of C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a few chords that I know work over a C bass line. And they're just going to be triads. So we're going to play C minor in the first one. And then we're going to play, we're going to play B flat in the next one. And I'm just using root position chords for those first 2. And then I'm going to play an F in this third one. And then I'm going to play a G sharp or an A flat. Okay. Now it's only going to play linearly. It's going to play forward. Everything is 2 bars. So now let's see how this sounds with the chords in there. Pretty good. I'm going to set the gate at 75% so that it doesn't hold the note all the way until the next chord starts. This way it'll fade a little bit before the next chord starts. Okay, now that needs a little bit of FAC chorus. Okay, so now we have chords on top of the funk groove that we've built. They're kind of generic chords, but they provide us a little bit of context. Okay, and it's not just groove-oriented stuff. This gives us some harmonic content and some harmonic context to be able to work with. So now, I mean, at this point, you're pretty free to do whatever you want. You know, a lot of times I'll throw mode in here as a lead. Make sure I got the right keyboard up. So there you go. That is a groove. I have a lead line going. I have chords going. When I played my lead, all I was using was the pentatonic scale plus one note, which is called the blues scale. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your pentatonic scale in C. And I added the blue note. So you get this. Okay, you get that little... Okay, so this gives you enough to build a song with, or at least start a song with. That's something funky. Okay, you can remix this by going okay, drop the drums, drop the bass out, have a little jam without the bass line, and then you come back in with okay. Simple tricks, simple things to give you guys ideas. So I've already gone on too long. I know this was really only a couple extra steps beyond what we did before, but hopefully it gives you some more ideas of what to do. I'm going to have some more videos coming soon. I got another one on some aspects of Rosetta that just got updated, the being able to control one of the sequencers with one of the other sequencers. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. Let me know what things you like, what things you don't like. I'm still, you know, getting my groove here, so bear with me. My videos will get better over time. The editing will get better over time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to Daveypoo, the Mobile Music Minstrel, and I will see you guys later.